Hi and welcome back in today's video. In today's video, I will play another 1510 game in my chess.com account, and recently I have lost two games in a row, so I will try to just bounce back. So here we start a new game. Yes. So the game has been started. Yes, he played e4. I will play the Karukan defense. This is a very solid opening for the black pieces against any opponent. Okay, he can play knight c3 or he can play e5 as well. If he plays e5, then I will just play c5 here, and if he plays knight c3, then okay, he just took my pawn. I will just take with the pawn here, and he plays natural development of d4 pawn. I will just play, I think I can play knight b6 here. Okay, I think he can play bishop b5, but okay, I will just play a6 here, and preventing the knight or bishop jumping here. And okay, I think I can just, now I can just pin this knight with my bishop here. Okay, he has played bishop d3 here. Yeah, okay, bishop d3. I think I could just attack the bishop here, but first I will just play e6 here. Now I can play rook c8 here, pressing the c2 pawn here, and now he can play c3 here, but c3 blocks the bishop, but c3 just solidify the center. Okay, he just plays knight d2 and knight d2. I think knight d2 is not a great move. I think I can play knight b4 here, knight b4, and then attacking the bishop here. And then if I took the bishop, then the pawns will be doubled. So I think I can just play knight b4 here. Okay, he has played bishop e2 here. I think I can just take the pawn with the rook. Yeah, I will just take the pawn with the rook here, or with the knight here. I can take both ways with the rook and with the knight as well. If I take with the knight, then the rook c1 will hit the knight here, then I can just bring it back. And if I take with the rook, then he have to save the bishop here, and I have to just bring the rook back, so I will just take with the knight here. Okay, okay, the knight is attacking my rook. I will just play knight b4 here, just coming back after taking a pawn. If he takes my rook, then I will just take back with my queen. And now I will just develop my bishop to d6 here. I am attacking the a2 pawn as well with my knight, and if he defends and attack my knight, then I will just play knight c6 here. Okay. I think, okay, he took my rook, then I will just take back with the queen here, and now he can make a couple of moves here, like a3 is a move here, a3, and then I can, okay, he just defends the a2 pawn with the queen, and I think I can just play knight e7 and then knight f5 attacking the pawn here, and yeah, then I can just finish it. But I think I am just little bit behind in development, and he can just play rook c1, and then I will just, but I will play knight e7. If he plays rook c1, then I will just play knight c6. Yeah, then I now I can play knight c6 here. Knight c6 is a safe move, and on the next move I can just take the knight on the f3. He cannot go the f3 knight cannot go to e5, because then the light square bishop will just, I will just capture the light square bishop. I think he can play h3 here, h3, and clears the back ring, and attacks my bishop here, and I can attack his queen as well, and but I will not, I will just take the knight, and then the other knight takes, and then I will play knight f5 here. Knight f5, and then he can play knight e5, and then I can play, like I can play queens, क्या एक minute here. Yeah, if knight e5, then I could just, oh no, I can't. Okay, okay, let's see what he plays here. Like knight e5 is a good threat here. If h3 comes, then I will just play bishop f5 maybe, and then if queen moves, then I will just play knight d7, queen d7. Yeah, okay, he has played bishop d3 here. I think he is just preparing knight e5 here, so I can play knight g6 as well. Knight g6 stops knight e5 completely, but okay, I think uh, I can play queen d7 here. Yeah, queen d7 is a good move, but firstly I will just take the knight here, because my pawns are on the light square, and I will just trade the light square bishop here, and then I will just play queen d7 here. Queen d7, and my knight is protected by my knight as well, and e5 square is protected by my knight, so I think it is fine, and he can't take my h7 pawn as well, because then I can play g6 and traps his bishop here. So I think I am a pawn up, and the ending will be favorable for me, and I will play g6, bishop g7, and just castle here and try to win the d4 isolated pawn. Yeah, okay. He just stops my knight from coming to b4, but that's not my plan entire all. I will just play g6 here and just develop my. Okay, he is just pushing the b pawn to b4, and b5 is covered. But if he plays b5, I will take. Then bishop takes. Okay, I think it's not that bad for me, and okay. Okay, I will just play. I can play b5 as well here, but then this square is weak. But knight cannot come. Knight takes a lot of squares to come to this square, and okay, b5 is a good move here, stopping b5 of white here, and then I think white can play a4 here, a4 and just yeah, a4 is a good move, but I can take the b4 pawn here. So I think a4 is not the great move, because if I take the b4 pawn, hits the light square bishop here, and he has the double bishop advantage, but both the bishops in this diagonal are just covered, and then these both diagonals are just covered, and okay. इसको एक बार कनेक्ट कर देते हैं। इस वीडियो को पॉज भी कर सकते हैं क्या यहाँ से? Okay, uh, I have just connected the mouse, and I will just show you some things that these bishops are just blocked by their own pieces, and they can't attack. They can't contribute in the attacking, and this side as well. The bishops are blocked. So I think this two bishops advantage is not that good here. Okay, he just played. He just played queen c2 here, but the knight is defended two times here, so this is not the concern for me. And but okay, okay, I think I can play bishop g7 here. Okay, bishop g7, and this just pressures the d4 pawn here, and because I can play knight f5 in the future after castling and playing rook c8 here, because in this game my rook is just sitting here and just not contributing in the game. And in chess the fight is not win by the single warrior. The all the coordination of all the pieces wins the game. Okay, let's see what he plays. Okay, he just played queen e2 here, and I just not understanding the reason of this move. I think I could just castle here. I think he is aiming for a queen side attack here with the queen here, and but I think he cannot attack there. because my dark square bishop and my this knight also can come, and my queen is also near. I think I could just castle here. He cannot sacrifice this bishop here. If he takes, then I will just take with the pawn, and he takes with the queen. This is not the way, because my knight is defended two times here. Okay, he has played h4 here. I think h4 is not the uh, not the great moves here. I think I can play bishop knight f5 here, and if he plays h5, then I could even just go knight knight even go h5 as well, but then knight g5 comes, and the position is little bit shaky here. So I think, okay, because he has double bishop advantage, so I will play knight f5 here, and just attacking the d4 pawn here. I think he cannot defend the d4 pawn, and he I will just capture. If he takes my pawn with the knight, then I will just take with the I think I can just take with the e pawn maybe, but I will just take with the g pawn, and yeah, I will just take with the g pawn, because then my structure will be so solid, and I can just play for a solid win here. I think h5 would be the way to just close the attack, but I think knight f5 is also a great move here, and okay, because then if I takes with the e pawn, then the e file is deadly here. E file is because e file is so great, and I can just win the game on the e file as well, and just complete the game here. But let's see what he plays here, because if he takes with the bishop, then I want to just exchange the pieces here, and his uh, coordination of pieces is not that good here. The knight is not attacking much here, and the dark square bishop is restricted with the d4 pawn, and the rook is not doing much here. The queen is not doing much in this e file, so I think there's no much attack here, and I could just win it easily, and just gain 19 rating points. Okay, I don't understand the reason of knight e5 at all, because knight if yes, knight e5 just attacks my queen here, but I can just take the pawn, and then yeah, I could just take the pawn with the bishop, or with the knight. I think I can just take the pawn with the knight, and then I can just if he takes with he will take with the pawn, and then I will just take this h4 pawn as well. Yeah, because my queen is in under attack, so I will just take the knight here. Yeah, he takes with the e pawn, then the h4 pawn is hanging here, so I will just take the h4 pawn as well. And now if he plays g3, then the knight will come back on the f5 square here. And then if he takes with the bishop, then I will just take with the g pawn, because the structure is just uh, good here. And okay. And if he plays queen g4 here, then also queen g4, I can just play knight f5 here. Knight f5 is also good. And knight f5 is a good move. I could just attack the rook as well here with bishop h6. And I could just play rook c8 as well to exchange the rooks here. If the rook are traded, then the because I am just two pawns up here, and this is just over. In the ending, I will just surely win this game. Okay, I think he's taking a lot of time here, and he down to just last 4 minutes. And okay, disconnected. Let's see, he will just auto resign in just 1.5 minutes. Okay, just auto resign in just 45 seconds. And let's see. Yeah, I won the game here, and the game is abundant. I won the game here. And let's see. I will just play another opponent here. I just won the game here, and just I'm just playing another game of 15-10. Okay, the game is still searching here. And let's see who is my new opponent. Yeah, the new opponent is 1730, and I'm playing with the white pieces here. I will just play knight f3 here. And okay, he's playing d5 here. I think I can play b3 here. b3 is a good opening, I think. And okay, that's a very good move here. And okay, I think I can play e3 here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, I will just play s3 here. He takes my knight. I will just take back with the queen. And then he just played e6 here. I will just develop my bishop to b2. Okay. Okay, I could just pin the knight, but I will just play a3 here, stopping the knight from coming to b4, and I think I can play bishop b5 here. Bishop b5 pins the uh, knight right away, and yeah, okay, now I can just take the e5 pawn here, and yeah, I could just take the e5 pawn here. Okay, yeah, I could just take the e5 pawn here. I'm a pawn up in this game right away on the starting, and I will just take the knight here. Yeah, then I could just play bishop back here. Yeah, I will play bishop back here, bishop to b2. Now I can play d3 and just knight d2 here. Okay, he just played uh, d4, d4 here. I think d4 is not the great move because I can just take it, and if he takes, then I could just give him check, and I just okay. I will just castle here. If he pushes, then I could just check and just take the pawn here. Yeah, okay. Now I can just take the pawn here. If he takes with the knight, then I could just play rook check here. I can play rook check here as well. Okay, he just played bishop to e7. Okay, okay, this pawn is completely weak here, d4, and I think I can play d3 here to uh, completely just freeze the weakness here, and now I can just play knight d2 here. Knight d2 is a good move, I think, and okay, this I think this is not the greatest of moves here because I can just play knight e4 here, and yeah, I can just play knight e4. But surely I will not play knight d4 here. I will just play like I can play. Yeah, I will play knight e4. Now I'm attacking the bishop here, and now I can just play knight c5 here. I think knight c5 is a good move. The queen, knight, and bishop is defending the d4 pawn here, and I could just attack it with my. I will just attack it with my four pieces with my rook and with my queen, and knight. For the time being, I am just attacking the b7 pawn, and he can't push it because then he will drop his knight to just he will drop his knight. So he have to play, I think, rook b8, or I think queen c7. Let's see what he plays here. On the next move, I can just surely play. Yeah, queen c7. Queen c7 is. I think queen c7 is a good move, and I think I will play b4 and then knight b3 here, b4 and then knight b3. I think he on some time he will play uh, knight e5 here, and then I will play, because I'm now with the b4 pawn I'm defending my c5 knight. So the tactics of the knight e5, knight e5 is not working here. And okay, okay, that's I think that's a good move here. And but I will not take, surely I will just play knight knight b3 here to just attack the pawn here. And on the next move I will play f4, queen f4. No, queen f4 just takes my queen. I can play like, yeah, I can play I can play queen g3 as well, but then after exchanging the queens, this is not the position I want. So let's see. I'm just pressing the d4 pawn here and stopping the a5 advancement. But he can just push a5 in this case as well. But then, okay, I think now I can play. Now I can play. Okay, yeah, yeah. He's the okay, because his queen is undefended. So I could just attack the knight, but it is defended three times, and I am just attacking. I will just attack it two times, so that's not. Or I can just play queen f4 here, and the queen is undefended here. That's a major threat, but the pawn is under attack. That is the main thing. The pawn is under attack, so I will just defend the pawn here. Yeah, pawn. The pawn was under attack, and on the next move I can capture the d4 pawn here. I could just capture here. And let's see what he plays here. I think he will just go back to the c6 square, because there's no other way to defend the d4 pawn here. I will just take with the knight and just be two pawns up, and the c2 pawn is just unstoppable in the game. I can just push it to c4 here. And yeah, that's a good move. Now I will play queen d2 here. Yeah, queen d2 is a good move, because if we take, then I will just take with the rook here. And I will just take now and just play rook take e8. After rook take e8, I will just exchange the other rooks as well. And if we not exchange, then I will just play. Okay, now I will play just takes the rook here, and then I will just play rook e1 as well. But okay, if I plays rook e1, he takes, then I will just drop the c2 pawn here. So that's not, but I will not drop because the knight is in the way. And I think I can play rook e1. He has to move his knight. Okay, now I will just, yeah, now I can just play rook e4 here. He cannot attack the rook right away. And I am attacking the pawn. three times here, and he is defending three times. And on the and on the next move, I will play f3 or queen e2 here. Yeah, queen e2 is a good move. Just exchanging the rooks here. Yeah, just exchanging the rooks. He cannot move his knight because then the d4 pawn will just hang here. And okay, let's see what he plays. Okay, he has played. Okay, that's not a great move. I will just play rook e2 here, because then now I can play knight c5, and then I will just play knight e6, forking these three pieces, and I want one of them, and with my knight. So because the dark square bishop is so powerful, and I want that bishop here. So let's see what he plays here. I think if he plays knight e5, then I will just play knight c5. And if he plays after that, if he plays like b6, then I will just take the knight. Or or no, no, I will just not take the knight here. I will just move my knight back, or just take the. But if I take the, yeah, I could just take. Because then I can just play b5, and these are the ahead calculations here. Yeah, now this move is not a great move. This is a bad move here, and I can just attack the a6 pawn after knight c5, and my knight is just forever on this square, and I'm also aiming the e6 square as well. And so this is a bad position. This is a not a good position to play with the black pieces, because my all the pieces are so active in this position except the b2 bishop here. The b2 bishop is not that active, but every piece other than that is active here. I am attacking the a6 pawn here. Yeah, I am attacking the a6 pawn here. And now on the next move, I could also play queen g5. The f5 move was not the great move here, and I will play queen g5 here. Okay. Okay, he just played queen c8 here. Okay, I think I could play knight e6 here. Knight e6, and I will just take. Okay, I think I will just play it solidly and just play knight e6 here, attacking the rook and the dark square bishop here. Yeah, he plays this. I will just take it. He can just take back with the king here. Okay, okay, I will just take the rook here. Yeah, okay, now I can just. I think I could just take the d4 pawn as well. If he takes, then I could just play check and just win the pawn back. But then he will just take the c2 pawn, and I think this is not the way here. Yeah, I think that's not the way because I think his king is little bit weak here. But yeah, I could just play it because my queen will be just so strong. And but I just check once more that I will just take. If he take, then I will just give him this check, and this is a four. Can he has to move his king? Yeah, because this is a check here. Okay, I think I could just take with the check here. Then he could just take the c2 pawn, and yeah, I could just play. Yeah, now I will just take the knight here. Okay, he just takes the. Okay, okay, I think I can play queen b6 here. Okay, I will just check him again. Yeah, okay, and now I can just push the pawn here. I think the d pawn is a crucial thing, and because my king is safe here, if he takes the a and b pawn, then also the d pawn is just so powerful. Then I could that I can just win here. Yeah, okay, now he's exchanging the queens here. That's not the thing because if he takes, then I think I will just win this game surely. This king will try to come here, but it's too late now. There, then I will just play this move. I think it's just over here. I will just play. Yeah, okay, I will just exchange the pawns here, or I can also play this move because the white king has no squares to play, so I can just play g3 here. I think g3 is not the great move, but it's fine. Okay, h6. Now I will stop the g5 and advancement, and I am stopping it by playing h5, h4 here. If he plays now, then I will just take. If he takes back, then I will just play g4, and he's in the called zugzwang here, and I will just win because he cannot defend his e pawn anymore. And okay, yeah, okay. The only move he can play is g5 here, and now I will just take takes back, and I will play g4 here. He is in the zugzwang. He has to play some move, and I will just capture his e pawn here. Yeah, my opponent just resigns the game here, and I won the game comfortably here. And okay,